Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the TekWar podcast. This is the official podcast of the TekWar fan network. Tonight we have a very special guest. His name is Eggwhite. He is a world-famous rapper. Everyone knows him. He's blowing up constantly. He is an extremely good-looking, nice individual.
Oh, you flatter me, sir. You flatter me.
And we're going to get into it with him today. So, Eggwhite, I'm really glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be speaking to such a prestigious man as myself. Go ahead.
Yeah, you are a prestigious man. I just was looking at your feed today and saw you being referenced in some huge hip-hop songs.
Yeah, it's funny to me because I'm in so many different memes and all these different things that, like, anytime somebody posts me, like, in an Instagram meme or something, I usually hear about it. And there's a song that has, last time I checked, 60 million plays on YouTube, and I don't know what the streaming is or whatever. I'm familiar with the artist, but somebody had just in the last week here, had sent me a message and been like, hey, did you know there's this guy? And he says in this rap song, I'm with it. I'm basically saying that he's a real killer. And he's like, yeah, I'm with it like Toby. Yeah, I'm with it like Toby. And then, like, the song, it's like at the end of the song, but then it's got like the little outro part. It's not anything like comprehensive. But then he's like, yeah, Toby. Yeah, the school shooter. Yeah, or whatever, something like that. It's something I'm paraphrasing slightly there, but that's essentially what it is. So somebody had put that to my attention. I was like, now the thing is that I have a mutual person who had produced for that artist who I had a little bit of communication with. I gamed with him before, but I do believe this particular record had come out before they had worked together. I'm not 100% on it though, but in any case, I just thought it was really funny. I got a kick out of it. I said, this is just what my life is like, that it was like 10 o'clock in the morning and I was already drunk and miserable and like not knowing like what I like, basically like in this downward spiral of, what is life? What is my life? What is anything? And then all of a sudden this message come across. Hey, you got shouted out in like one of the hottest records of the entire year. Oh no, I didn't know that. Cool. That's cool.
That's huge. So the other thing that people may not know about you, the other thing that you're most well known for is your alcoholism.
Hey, now I'll tell you this much, okay? Listen, okay, I don't have a drinking problem. I have a drinking solution, all right? So when life is not so fun and when it's not so good and when there's problems, I solve it. I have a particular prescription. I failed out of community college. They said I wasn't the most intelligent man, but I figured out that when I would drink an energy drink and combine it with very strong liquor, that I would both be energetic and able to perform in the way I needed to if I was doing something of a live stream or whatever the case might be, or whatever the performing measure was required. So I'd have the wherewithal to do that, but I would also be kind of like loose and not. It was like an anti-anxiety medication. Now I've taken Phenibut. I haven't taken Xanax, and I don't plan to. I don't ever plan to take that. But it's a good feeling until it isn't, and then when it's a bad feeling, it's funny. It was really just the other day when I was talking about that. That same day, I sort of became a bit psychotic because it was like I drank too much. I had too much caffeine and too much alcohol at me at the same time, and I just was wigging out. And I was sending off like weird DMs and stuff because I felt like I wanted to tweet some crazy stuff, but then I was like, no, I'm not crazy. But it kind of echoed around this time last year. I was doing a live stream and I chugged a liter of relatively strong rum, and to the point that I actually blacked out on the live stream, took my clothes off, but not naked. It was really from the waist up. And I got so drunk that I passed out and tackled my entire computer to my concrete basement floor, and it was just not pretty. It was people that were there. They said it was the most insane thing they've ever seen in their entire lives, and I was a bit embarrassed at the time, and so
don't be embarrassed.
I took that as a sort of a message. That was when I sort of went into a prolonged hibernation. I spent really my whole summer, for the most part, not the whole summer, but at least the second half of the summer, I would say, I just essentially sort of just dipped away from everything and played a lot of multiplayer games online for hours a day. Didn't get out of bed very much, gained weight. It was an ugly situation, and I still really haven't recovered. I've still kind of been in the situation where I'm like, well, I don't know. It's sort of like it's kind of been I've been living on a couch for like 3 years. I have a lot of problems and I don't have a lot of solutions. Yeah, so it's been rough.
Me and you were talking about this earlier today. Is you need to find a new direction. You need to find some new motivation. So that's going to be the whole theme of our show. Is we're going to help you discover that tonight.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear.
Are you sipping on anything currently?
He has, from my understanding, this is just what I understand, but he said previously that he has not one but 2 drinks ready to go.
That's correct.
But
that is my typical, for when I want to bring forth my presence to a recording. If you look at my early recordings, it's funny because we have like Lauren Southerns in the news game right now. The first podcast episode I ever did, which was about 3.5 years ago, was interviewing Lauren Southern, and I was stage fright the whole time. I was basically just like mumbling, and it was a total disaster, and nobody ever hardly even looked at it at all ever. So it was it's one of these things where I have a better handle of this particular sort of thing. I've had put in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of live streams and different things. But there's still just something about it that you just feel it's like a little bit of an extra warmth, Like, for instance, when I got attacked by the CBC earlier this year, when they kind of like swooped in on me with these false pretenses and had me, on a little video call, it was a very stiff situation. It was kind of like I was trying to crack some jokes. That sort of this joyous energy, something that you feel reminiscent of the feast of yore. Just this eat, drink, and be merry. Yeah, I mean, I don't live in the most merry of situations, but a pint of a brew and a little bit of caffeine, just something about that. It just sparks something that just makes any occasion more smooth and mellow and joyous and festive. And so that's why I choose to consume a combination of malt liquor and energy drinks when I do what I do.
Is live streaming therapeutic to you? Is that like exposure therapy for your anxiety, perhaps?
I could definitely see that being the case. It's, to me, there's something about it where, and there is a balance to it for myself, because there's been times in the past where I might be doing a live stream and it could garner hundreds of viewers, and that makes me a little bit anxious. That's a little too much for me. I travel around a few different platforms. I usually kind of hang around a sweet spot of somewhere, in the low triple digits, somewhere in that range that is workable to me. But definitely over the years, live streaming has been an incredible thing for me. It's really done incredible major things for my ability to use my voice properly. I was diagnosed with autism at a young age, and I was in speech therapy for many years. But even when
I was too.
Even when I came into the public eye, if you will, on YouTube, if you go look up some of those early YouTube videos, I still had a particular way of talking that was still was indicative of my lifestyle of living a very isolated life. I wasn't ever talking to anybody really, except maybe a customer at my retail job now and then. But I worked nights at the time, so even that was very limited. So over these years, it's been able to help me really take hold of my voice and things in a new way, and really help me express myself in a way that I wasn't really certain of before. And I even I've told people in the past, and in fact, there's actually one gentleman from Europe who was able, essentially, I told him, I said, try it out. He was a shut-in, and he had anxiety problems. I sent a few people, this was a while back now, but I had sent a few people of my audience to his channel. And essentially, he would just sit there and play Minecraft or whatever, and he would just sort of talk on his little microphone with, about no more than 10 people ever, I would imagine. But still, him talking to these people and them chatting with him, it allowed him to practice conversing in a way that he was sort of shut off from doing before. And then when he did that, last I heard, he was getting his first job now, and things were looking up for him. And I'm not going to take credit that I, gave him the magic key or whatever, but I'm sure that it was something that did help him open up a little bit. It's not for everybody, but I was just taking it from my own personal experience, because I'm a little bit hard-headed, and sometimes it's hard for me to sort of see perspective from other people the way that I would like to. So I usually tend to look through things the way that it has affected me. So when I give people that information or that advice, I'm like, yeah, so here's how it worked for me. maybe it'll work for you, but just think about it. So
That's fantastic.
Well, yeah, what do you think that the magic of that is? I mean, I feel more attracted to live streaming and podcasts and like YouTube videos than I do to TV shows or any traditional media.
100%. 100%.
Well, I would say, I first began viewing live streams about probably 7.5 years ago, maybe closer to 8 years now. I forget 100%. I want to say, let's just say 7.5 years. And I was put onto it. I was introduced to Twitch.tv by a man who I was one of my former coworkers. And so when I started watching it, I actually was watching the speed runs. Now, the reason why
we gotta talk about speedrunning. That's huge.
Let me tell you, it was a different time, all right? It was the time when, what was that guy's name, Woozer or whatever? The guy, he could still say racial slurs on his stream and he didn't get banned, or whatever that guy's name was, the Australian guy. It was a different time, okay? But the thing that I enjoyed, because I had enjoyed speedrunning video games, probably, I would say at this point, I mean, it's been over 20 years. I remember looking up, the speed demos archive on the web on, when I first got DSL, at the turn of the millennia or whatever. Looking that up and watching, I used to go and record VHS tapes of Genesis games and stuff. I would always find it very fascinating. It was sort of this thing to me where it was pushing to the limit and achieving the most you could achieve. I don't know. There was just something about it. There was an aspect of it that I found interesting.
Back in the day, I sent like screen cap, like VHS sorts of things to like Nintendo Power. To try to get my high score or whatever in there.
Well, hey, Chris Chan got in there for his Animal Crossing room.
I know.
So, it was up for grabs, but yeah, I never quite. I remember when I was like 3 years old, my uncle had an NES, and I remember sitting there on his couch or whatever and watching him do the warp pipe thing. That was like MLG, at the time, I was like, whoa, he went through the wall, man. Whoa, it's crazy. How did he know? It was crazy. But so that's how I got into watching.
I may make fun of speedrunning, but there's something very appealing about it. Like I remember just playing Perfect Dark over and over and over again. It's a unique sort of soothing thing.
It's funny that we had talked about Magic the Gathering before, because I think probably my first experience with actual speedrunning was, I guess as far as like around me with some sort of legitimacy to it, there was a guy who I knew that I went to high school with who was really big into Magic the Gathering, but his other thing was he was really big into trying to speedrun Final Fantasy games. Which I eventually became one of my mainstays of viewing. There was a guy who I could never remember his name now, but at the time, let's say 6 years ago, there was a guy on Twitch who would speedrun Final Fantasy games for the PS1. And I would always, anytime he was streaming, I would generally have his stream on because he would talk very minimally, and he would talk in this very, very low voice. So really, you just had sort of this ambient gameplay, but there was an aspect to it of it being live that was, I don't know, there was something that it did to me that it was comforting ASMR. To have in the background, because he would be doing 2, 3, 4 hour sessions. So it wasn't like some guy sitting there trying to, he's restarting every 5 seconds or something. It was somebody that would be sitting there and, trying to, go through Final Fantasy 9 or whatever it was with all this stuff. So yeah, it was something that, I wasn't at the stage where I'm now. These days, I sort of do something similar, but I use cooking videos on YouTube. There's a man named Guga. I watch. He has 2 different YouTube channels: Guga Foods and Sous Vide Everything. And there's just something about the way that he does what he does.
Someone gave me a sous vide for my birthday.
I don't know what it is about him. It's like he's this Brazilian man, and he has his family in like almost every video, and they're trying out his food, and they all talk in like broken English, and they're all very jolly. There's just something sort of harkening back to what I said when I said.
And he's like, do the taste alcohol test of the butter, the meat with the butter and the meat without the butter.
Right.
Oh, man.
It's just something about that festive. He just goes, okay, so today here we have the sous vide Wagyu steak, and this is the grass-fed non-Wagyu steak. So let's do it, And it's, I don't know. There's just something about it. There's just something so pleasant and comfortable about it that I just have his channel playing the whole time I sleep. I wake up to it every day. I usually have it on when I'm playing video games. I don't know. I've watched the same videos 100 times, and I don't know. It's just still. I'm sure I'll go through it, and I'll probably move on to something else eventually. But lately, that's just been my jam.
That's your current fixation.
I am
Indeed.
exactly the same way with these videos. Is that I'll just watch them over and over again in the background, and it's more entertaining. You know, TV is so complex now, and it's like Game of Thrones, and there's like all these fucking different characters and dragons, and I would rather just watch a video of some guy just talking about sous vide, just like gently in the background.
So true. And the thing is that now, you know, I don't keep up with Netflix. I don't keep up with these TV shows. So I'll go and try to get into it. And it's just like, I don't know, there's nothing out there that really, and the thing is too, I'm this way with a lot of different media. Maybe it's because maybe it's a little bit of my low IQ, low attention span combination. I don't really know. It's just something about when you got a guy throwing down a steak in slow motion, all close up and like 4K HD, steak salted and all this stuff like that versus, I don't know, what's on TV these days. You know, I guess I watched a couple seasons of Game of Thrones like 4 years ago or something. It was all right, but I kind of fell out of it. I mean, I'm trying to think of I will admit this Chernobyl series, it's looking kind of interesting. I think I'll probably go find that on some kind of website. That
I've been thinking about watching that too.
I've heard it's got very good ratings.
But also, I see a lot of people, like annoying people and like blue check marks and stuff, like talking about it a lot, making a big deal out of it, trying to make like Trump metaphors out of it. So I'm a little skeptical in that. But you know what? I'm really into this guy who opens Magic the Gathering booster boxes right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, I'll let you get into that. I'm going to say one thing here first that reminds me of, there was once upon a time, it was a few years ago, around the time that I first basically had lost total control of my life and began living on this couch. What I would do at the time is I can't remember, I'm not sure why I wasn't using my phone, but I had an emulator on my computer, and I would use this emulator on my computer to install Japanese games. I had a Japanese Google Play account, and I would install these like anime girl games or whatever. They refer to them as gacha, I think is the way you pronounce it. It's GACHA. But in any case, at the time when I did that, I was really like, oh, I'm going to get the rare girl with extra power, 5-star super rare, whatever. I would go and I started watching all these YouTubers where it was like some fat, balding, whatever, like some guy who obviously had not much going on in his life, but he just happened to like start playing this Japanese anime game, and he was like a software developer or something where he had the money to spend like $1,000 on the gems or whatever it was. He'd be like, all right, today I just spent 1,000 gems. We're going to do 500 pulls of anime girl RPG. Let's go. I would just sit there.
Man, that's
I would be
my
sitting there
language
chomping
right
at the bit like, oh yeah, ultra rare. Get it. These guys would go on Twitch and they would live stream themselves opening, and they would take like 5 minutes to open each one, and they would try and, you know, like build up this big audience and, you know, put their chat into subscriber only modes, like trying to get all this money out of the fact that they were just sitting there and like pressing a button to open what was essentially amounted to some kind of gambling mechanism. But I won't lie.
Digital booster packs.
You had this thing. You were like, you would be invested. Like, oh, what's he gonna get? So I get that.
It's like crowdfunding the gambling. It's like you want to just watch someone gamble, but you don't want to gamble, so you all hedge your bets and invest $5 or whatever so this guy can gamble. The guy that I love, his name is Rudy from Alpha Investments. And I really want to get him on the podcast. I have no idea how to contact him or anything, but I would love to talk to that guy.
Some booster boxes, some legendary booster boxes.
And he has a whole scam going where he doesn't even like buy the cards himself. He sells them through his Patreon, and then the deal with his Patreon is like if you subscribe to him, he'll open up what you buy on his own channel, and then he like mails you the cards and shit. So he just like makes like pure profit off of that. And
that's like, in a way, you're sort of appealing to a certain sensibility or a certain sort of mental function. It's kind of in the same way as like when I go onto twitter.com and I see somebody paid, what's her name? The girl with the braces. I forget what her name is. I don't pay attention to these women, but the one that makes like 100,000 on Patreon or whatever, supposedly, where she's like beating up laptops and like smashing eggs on her face or whatever. Like, that's just like somebody wants to pay and they're going to see somebody do something. And they're going to be like, oh, you know, it's, I don't know, something in the brain, something it's just hitting a switch for them somewhere. But I could see that's a pretty good idea. It's I guess that's why he's an alpha investor. He's got the alpha male ideas. He's got the alpha male brain function going on.
And there is like a whole Gamergate thing going on in Magic the Gathering, and he's like one of the,
Is he in it? He's caught up in it?
Yeah, he's a controversial guy.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Within the Magic the Gathering community. But you know what I fucking love? I just love watching those openings over and over and over again.
Yeah, it soothes my autism to either watch or physically open a booster pack.
I'm diagnosed autism too, so I feel like that's the key to everything.
It's soothing. It's really nice. And going back to the TV thing, that's the problem is with YouTube, you can watch these things over and over and over again. TV, it's like watching a movie with like Spanish subtitles or some shit. You just you look away for 5 seconds and you've missed everything that's going on, and you're no longer.
But with this shit, like missing it is like the good part. It's like you miss it. You're not even paying attention. You're just like listening to it, and then you miss what happened, and it's like that's almost like you consumed.
That's the point. Yeah.
It's funny because that's kind of like I used to watch anime. I don't really watch anime so much anymore, but every now and then somebody will mention a series to me, and I'll just happen to, acquire it. And then I might just, if I start watching it and it's not interesting to me, what I'll do is essentially I'll have this file folder with the episodes, and I'll have it just on a constant cycle. And I might just leave it playing for like a week straight and just essentially sort of like residually absorb the plot. I don't know. It's a terrible way to consume media, but like I said, I don't know. There's something at some points along the way, my brain, I don't know, because there was definitely a time where I was like, chomping at the bit for new things. But I think that also kind of just plays into the whole scenario, the whole situation of where my life is right now. It's like eventually there came a day where I woke up and I just was not excited for anything anymore or the foreseeable future. And so like not even an anime or not even a video game or whatever. It's just like I woke up one day and I'm just like, well, yeah, we're here. It's, I'm breathing. Yep, still alive. Cool. All right. Yep, that's what it is. All right. So,
yeah, you need more content. That's why we all got to be out there making content. So there's something that keeps you waking up in the morning.
It's funny you should say it because I hear that from people. Like right now, I think I've streamed twice in the last 2 weeks. People have been. I'm playing my World of Warcraft. The people are logging on a level 1 and saying, "Hey, man, you're gonna stream today. You're gonna stream today." I'm like, well, I'm kind of giving up on life, and they're like, bro, I'm unemployed and I just sit here drinking all day and all I do is just wait for you to stream. And so when you're not streaming, I have nothing in life. And I'm like, oh crap, man, that sucks. Because I guess I could relate to. I guess I can kind of feel it. Like kind of last year when I was in that extended hibernation phase. I went through so many podcast episodes of random stuff that I had no desire to even listen to, but I was just gaming for like every waking hour of the day. I was just laying around, and so I just needed something. I needed something to be there, just to like not drive myself insane from this like self-imposed isolationism. So I can understand it, but the thing about it, to get back to the central topic here, really my problem is that I wake up in the morning and I know that I am a mentally ill, low IQ man who basically got some notoriety initially for just being like one of the most undesirable losers that had been seen. And somehow this like ironically catapulted me to like this other level. But it's like I wake up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, what is this? What are you? What are you doing? Why? What's the deal? What's going on here? Would you think you really have what it takes? Do you think you really have what it takes? You freak. And I look at myself, I'm like, yeah, probably not really. Let me just go ahead and crack up this Steel Reserve and let me just lay in bed and kind of just, chill, wait for death some more. But I'm like, no, it's not a good way to live. It's not a good way to live, but I need to, I don't know. There's like this internal
because you have so much more to offer because we're here recording this and people are listening for you and they want to hear something soothing in the background. And we are always talking about this future communist economy where it's all like super automated and amazing, and it's like Andrew Yang type stuff. And
we're going to have currency that is directly correlated to YouTube watch minutes on your podcast episode.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Every minute of every listener, it's like it's essentially it's capitalism you know, in the way that you have one guy making your lemon scented cleaning product or whatever, and then you got two guys, you got three guys, you got one guy listening, you got two guys listening, you got three guys listening. That's how it's person multiplied by listen minutes equals new currency. I can see it happening because every person that I know
just described Brendan Ikeism, which is a basic attention token, which is getting paid for your attention. I think that's already a concept.
You know, everyone will be out of a job. I think that you're a pioneer in that sense. And we'll have the Yang Bucks or whatever, and everything will be great. But then in the future, all anyone will do is just create content for people and just make the Amsfors, make the podcast, and just try to get the bit points.
It's beautiful, but the thing is, well, I guess that's where
so you're in the future already. I mean, this should be a source of pride for you, not a source of shame.
Well, hey, you know what? As long as the FBI doesn't scout me beforehand, you know what? I'll be happy. That's the funny thing, you know. Harkens back. Who was that? Was that Feast Bab who made that tweet that one time that said something along the lines of history is going to remember you as like a castrated Harry Potter super fan unless you break enough rules to get remembered in like the folklore. I guess that's where I'm at right now when I had the FBI harassing me and knocking down my door because they want to ask me about memes in videos from years ago.
That. We were talking to Sean about that, so we need to get your FBI story too. We'll collect them all on this podcast.
We're gonna
collect
get
them like Magic the Gathering cards in a booster pack.
Yeah, that's a tie-in that we can do right there. We're going to publish our own collectible FBI visit card game.
Hey, I will give you express verbal consent right now to use my image for that means.
It's your rookie card, your first visit from the FBI. So what was your story? What happened with you?
Well, I mean, you know, I guess it was a two-parter. First part of it was, you know, sort of this about a song that I had created called Alec Minassian, which didn't mean that much to me. It was just sort of, to me, I considered it like a vocal exercise. I wanted to just make a song where I yelled really loud, and I basically just threw it together of random crap that I thought of spur of the moment. But it became an international sensation due to the fact that it was seen as like this song that's, you know, obviously people listen to it, they're like, man, this goes hard because it's just like I made it super abrasive intentionally. But then people that were like looking at it, they're like, oh, this is glorifying violence. This is glorifying terroristic activities. You're, you know, essentially kind of just, you know, putting a little heat on me, putting a little pressure on me. And, you know, trying to like, you know, basically tell me that I was, you know, it was being irresponsible and that my music could be seen as this horrible thing. But I'm like, hey, you know what? Okay. Looking back at it now, I thought it was stupid to begin with. I still think it's stupid. But, hey, obviously, if a man who is a young up-and-coming musician from the American South who's getting 60 million plays on a song on YouTube where he literally says, I'm a real killer like Toby, the school shooter, you know, obviously my authentic cred that could be so believable that I'm a gangster is obviously it's what the people want. I mean, 60 million plays. I mean, obviously that's not any central point of the song, but you know, it wasn't a central point of contention or dissent towards the song. So people recognizing my gangsta is not really a bad thing. Plus, it's just music. Anyways, second part.
What you're saying is that being autistic today is harder than being a black rapper. Is that your cred, you know, is more authentic than these.
Well, I mean, let's take
these
a look
rappers have it easy claiming to be gangsters and having done all these crimes, and no one questions that anymore. It's not edgy. It's not interesting. But you know, you're the autist of the future who has the real, you know, authenticity that these rappers don't have anymore.
I mean, that is true. That is true. But at the same time, I can point to cases of people like Tekashi 6ix9ine or Bobby Shmurda or NBA YoungBoy or whatever, where they're talking about something in their song where the police are investigating them and finding that they are, you know, but obviously, so maybe that was just part of it. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe there was the hip hop police. You know, it was scraggly Canadian journalists and random bald manlit FBI agents. But hey, maybe that's just what it is. Anyways, part two just happened about, what was it, two and a half weeks ago? What's today? I guess it would have been. Was that 3 weeks ago? I don't know. I'm not gonna bring up the calendar, but I believe that it was. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago now. Anyway, I don't know. Whatever. It's irrelevant. I was sleeping and I got a knock at the door. It was like 2:00 in the afternoon, but I had a late night, and basically I had a guy at the door. Well, actually, knocked at the door. I thought it was going to be like a Jehovah's Witness or something. I don't know. There's salesmen around, whatever. I didn't even want to answer it, so I laid there until the knocking stopped or whatever. Then I went up like 10 minutes later, kind of scoped it out, and I was like, all right, nobody's there to sell me stuff, whatever. So I opened up the door just in case it was a package got delivered or something, and there was a card it was stuck in the door, and it was from the FBI, and it had my full government name on the back and said, call us immediately with a phone number. And I was like, oh, great. Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I love to see. But the thing is that initially I didn't even know what to think. So I called the number. It had been a little bit of time, been like 5-10 minutes or whatever. So I'm like, all right, well, let me see what's up, I guess, just in case something's real serious that I should know about. And the guy picks up and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, I'm still outside. Come outside now. And I'm like, all right, cool. What is this? Was my song just too crazy? Now I'm about to get this Gitmo that they're implying they're going to do something to me. Now they're going to do something to me. All right, whatever. Let's go. I'm a political prisoner. I'm a artist. Whatever. Okay. But no, I go outside and there's this more not manlet but still bald FBI agent walks up to me with a little board and some paper on it or whatever, and he goes, have you heard of a man named Elliot Rodger? And I'm like, well, yeah, actually, I have heard about him. And he's like, all right, well, I'm from FBI Counterterrorism, and we're researching the terrorist sect known as the incels. And
God.
we heard, we had some footage presented to us where you did a live stream where you talked about Elliot Rodger and you had an Elliot Rodger t-shirt on. What is your involvement with these terrorists? And I was like, listen, bro, I probably have gotten more pussy than you, and I'm a hideous mutant freak that lives on a couch, and I got famous for being an ugly freak. But just for the fact I got famous, I had a bunch of histrionic BPD girls that all were throwing themselves at me. So listen, just get off my nuts. If you want to see me bang a hot supermodel, I'll send you a video. All right, please leave me alone. And essentially, he was just talking about this nonsense, and I was just laughing at him. But then he told me, he's like, listen, all right, we want you to become a paid FBI informant because we want, if you can investigate this incel terrorist sect and report on us with any information that you can get, we'll be investigating all these incels, and we want to, we can reward you for your information. And I'm like, bro, these are random dudes on the internet who don't get pussy, and you want to I'm like, listen, I'm like, you're barking up a tree that there is nothing to bark up here. I'm like, I don't know, you guys are. If you want to lock up internet virgins, just basically you're not going to have enough prisons. You're not going to have enough square footage to fit all the internet virgins in prison. So, listen, if I log on and there's some guy saying, "Oh, hey, I'm virgin man and I'm going to do bad things," okay, I'll think about it. Until then, please just leave me alone. And that was the end of it. But I just thought it was hilarious because he's like, listen, we don't think that you in particular are a violent individual, but obviously there is a trend going on where these, misogynist terrorists are a threat to our country. And I'm like, well, you know what? The funny thing is, same thing with the CBC. I said, listen, all right, maybe you guys, how would the FBI not know? Like they have back doors to every Discord server. Could you not see if there's Virgin server that's everyone's planning some crazy stuff? I mean, I don't know, but I'm like, if you're planning on me to be your snitch I'm not around anything that ever would I go onto Twitter and I see, I see people that are saying some crazy stuff. Typically they tend to generally be more on the left side of the aisle, so to speak. I don't really log on and see. I mean, yeah, okay, you might see a skull mask who's saying political solution. I don't think so, whatever. I'm like, listen, that's not to do with incel, though. I don't know who that guy. That's some guy who's made, skull mask 88. I don't know who that guy is. Whatever. That's not anything to do with me. So I don't know. It was just really silly to me. It was really just. I laughed about it, but they'll probably put an explosve in my vehicle at some point down the line, and so I probably shouldn't laugh about it.
No, this is what This is what the FBI always does. A lot of terrorist attacks are just FBI setups.
Oh yeah, go into that. I remember a tweet.
No, because it's totally true. I mean, that's what they did with the shoe bomber. Mm-hmm. Is that they recruit these people and then they give them the bombs and stuff, and then most of the time the bomb is a fake, and then they swoop in and make the arrest, and they're like, we stopped terrorism that we recruited and trained and equipped.
Oh, yeah.
And then some of the other times they just like forget or like give them a real bomb or whatever.
And the people are usually mentally ill, right?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, I'm sure, it's that was definitely something that came to mind for me. I was like, yeah, I mean, you're going to go. I mean, yeah, if I had a guy reach out to me on a sock account, so I don't know how true this is or not, but some guy had messaged me on a sock account and said, oh, I know of at least a few other people that were having visits around the time you mentioned it. So, hey, just stay strong, man. It's don't let it get to you in the head or whatever. They're just running around talking to everybody. So don't take it too serious or whatever. But still, that's the thing. I mean, why are they running around trying to find obviously unwell, isolated individuals? I would not doubt for a second that they're trying to find a good patsy for something. Absolutely, I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
It's like the thing they say after every major bombing. It's not all autists. It's truly not. They try to make it like it is, but it's not us. It's not all of us.
We are like the most discriminated class of people.
And they say
I'm just going to go on the record and say that's a fact.
Well, the thing is that it's funny to me, and I've mentioned this for years now, that like the number one people who are basically keeping the country from engaging in like autist genocide are middle-aged women who are mothers to like 5-year-old autistic children who, like, if you say anything bad about autistic people, they'll be like, oh my goodness, stop that slander. That is discriminatory slander right at once. But because if you take away the 5-year-old Billy who has, basically dead eyes and is like beating blocks together in his playroom or whatever,
M&Ms.
and you cut away that sort of like little image there. I mean, are a lot of autists like, adults that are very having issues fitting in with society and being capable in society? I mean, that's when I was a teenager. They told me, they said, you're probably going to go to a group home. You're very low IQ. You're very mentally deficient. You're probably going to end up, you're never going to have a job. You're never going to be able to do any of these things. You're probably going to end up getting sent to a group home where you're going to get paid $2 an hour to like shovel shit or whatever. And you're just going to be whatever the case is. And I've seen people who fit that description that are adults and they're just kind of generally sort of incapable of caring for themselves. And, I don't know. It's funny to me because it's like when I was a young person, when I moved out when I was 20 years old, I had my own place. I had a job. I went to school. I had a girlfriend. I had all this stuff going on for myself. I was like, haha, showed you guys. And now I've been living on a couch for 3 years and basically I'm like a totally like dysfunctional motherfucker. So I'm like, well, all right, maybe they had the long game going on me. Maybe they were right, but I don't really know. See, that's the type of stuff that I think about too when I think about myself and I think about the position that I'm in and how I feel insufficient sometimes. It harkens back to those younger days where the old women would sit there and smack me with a ruler and be like, "You are a retard. You're a retard." I'd be like, "Oh damn, yeah, maybe you're right." Old woman who's probably dead now. Maybe you were right 15 years ago when you smacked me with that ruler.
No, they're not right. You are like Moritz, or you're like Lenz. I mean, you're an artist. Is that you can't let these people get you down. I mean, you got to find the new direction. I want to hear some new Eggy tracks.
There's
What are you working on right now?
Well, when I was having my psychotic episode the other day, I wrote a song called Pride Month, which I could recite to you a cappella at the moment if you would like.
Oh, that would be a treat for sure.
TekWars network exclusive.
I kind of looked at it after the fact, and I didn't really, I don't know, it wasn't really, it could have definitely came together better, but I was sort of like I don't know, I was kind of just goofing when I was geeking, I don't know, I was wilding when I wrote it, so let me try and, I'm not going to play any beat or anything even on my own side here, but I'm going to try and recite this to an appropriate rhythm if I can. Anyways, I will try and do so now. Damn, it's Pride Month, but I just went and stuck my meat inside a wide cunt. Then smoked a fire blood, yeah, I fired that bitch up. And I got this shit from Cali, so you know that it's stung. But I'ma get crunk. Hey, FBI said that they wanna kill me. I said, tell me why. Cause they said that I ain't out here drilling, and I don't mean killing, but they told me I gotta be pussy filling. Oh, really? Or they gonna give me lethal injection, no penicillin. Hey, well, I'm proud, and it's Pride Month. Damn, I love the feeling. I've been fucking prostitutes inside of abandoned buildings. I go raw every time, so I got hella children. You can shoot me if you want, cause I got life insurance, so my mama gon' get paid. And I get assassinated, bitch, if I don't get laid. So little mama, go ahead right here and take this to your face. Was I bust inside with no rubber? It feel like out of space, like I'm rising from the grave. And I like when she don't shave. Free my brother Monkey Jones, I heard he misbehaved. Hey, fucking hoes and counting rolls, but pray our souls be saved. Hey, government want us dead if we ain't laid up in our bed getting wet coochie and head, bitch, I would rather chase some bread. But they came right to my door, said, hey man, you know the score, go and get yourself a whore. We needed to know for sure, like, can this weird man score? Then they watched me drop my drawers and my dick fell through the floor. They said, oh goodness no more. Oh goodness no more. I grabbed a hoe by her ponytail. But I grabbed the hoe by her ponytail. Pussy feel like snail trail. If you didn't know, I'm DGAOT, wait on the message like snail mail. I bust out windows like big hell. Bring a bitch sauces like Hormel. I hit all my moves like Corel. I never pay, I get it wholesale. Yeah, the boss club, I'm a member. Fuck FBI agents' wives till it's December. And I started in January. I pay taxes, then they lay me. And journalists pussy too. Journalists say fucking dudes, what? But they send the girls nudes. Ooh, I would be so mad too. Ooh, if I was a loser working for Vox. Yo, bitch, she pull up to me like boat at the dock. Ooh, you gotta knock it off. I kind of messed that up a little bit, but
Dude,
it definitely works.
Fantastic.
I want everyone who just listened to that. I mean, I want the fans out there to do some, some mixes with that.
Yeah, you better.
Layer that over some stuff. I want to hear it.
Some different trap beats. We're going to get this on SoundCloud. We're going to get this a couple mil.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I'll write something like that. It'll just be like, I don't know. I'll like 90% of it, and then I'll just kind of be like, I'm not really sure I want to change it. Then I'll end up just kind of like saving it, or I might even record it, but I'll just kind of like just have it continue sitting. So I have songs from like, I don't know, I would say for at least, I don't want to say like 4 years, but definitely like over 3 years of songs that are not continuously, but from back then until now. Like there's songs I've recorded even like 3 years ago that I was kind of recorded and I never really quite, I don't know, I'm always very particular, and that's probably a problem. That's why I don't release enough material maybe. But then at the same time, if I released everything, that I feel like people would realize that definitely not everything I write is good. Because sometimes I just get in, like I'll start freestyling and just it'll be some random stuff that doesn't really make sense. So I don't know.
Who's your dream producer for your mixtape? When are we getting this?
Well, I would say probably. I definitely still, when I can find a certain type of, right now, like the hot beats, everybody wants to be like, they want to make like a Playboy Cardi or like a Juice WRLD or a Trippie Redd or a Splurge or whatever. They want to make like a certain type of beat. It's like the popular type of beat. So it'll be like something that's really dreamy, or it'll be something very minimalistic. Still, my favorite types are like the ones that kind of were, in like the Chief Keef emergence era up until like maybe 20, like I would say like
before he started doing Lean Too Much.
Well, I wouldn't say, it depends, because Chief Keef definitely had a lot of melodic beats too, but like sort of like there was a period of time, I would say like maybe 2011 or 2012 to 2015 Gucci Mane, and then like sort of like locked up Gucci, like when he was releasing stuff when he was locked up, and then like some like Chief Keef around that same time. They had these very sinister, heavy hitting beats that I really liked. And so when I still find some that are still in that vein from time to time, and those, I don't know, there's something about those that are really heavy. But so like those 808 Mafia type beats, and like there was some Zaytoven beats around that time that were kind of like, Zaytoven always had sort of like a bouncy kind of like sound to his stuff, but it was still like the patterns and stuff were still kind of similar to some of those, which makes sense because he was producing for Gucci and everything. So kind of, but when I hear those, but I guess if I was to choose one producer, I don't know, man. It's there's a lot out there that make a lot of good songs, and the thing is that I would have to be like, I'd have to be in a certain mode for a certain producer at a certain time. That's part of it too. I don't know. I'm just kind of all over the place, and it makes it hard for me to like stay committed to something and stay like dedicated to something to make something work. I'll do one thing, and then I'll kind of be over there doing something else, and I'll be over there doing something else, and it's a problem I have, but it is what it is, I guess. Something I got to work on, but I haven't been generally the best at working on that.
So do you like Finally Rich by Chief Keef?
Yeah, that's good too. That is good. That is a good album.
Or earlier than that, like Bang.
I would probably say it's hard when I say later than Finally Rich. It's hard to say for
late.
sure,
Oh, okay.
Because it's like he might publish or release something later on, but it's like, was that recorded at that time or was that recorded a year ago? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. You might want Young Chop. That might be a good fit for Eggy. Young Chop featuring Eggy.
Well, I'll tell you,
Eggy
there was a guy, there was an artist, Young Chop's cousin, Johnny Maycash. He made some sick bangers that got a lot of club rotation when they got released, but like they didn't get out there like that. But still, there's what's that one? Bands ain't on me. Oh, get naked, and I'ma turn up, girl. You know you gonna take it, so I'ma get that cash, get ready. Ooh, get ready, yeah. And I'ma put it on you. Girl, work that body, girl, twerk that body. Oh, keep dancing.
Name the song, Warren.
I'm not sure, but did you just switch skin colors right there?
Huh?
Did you just switch skin colors right there?
Oh, it's very impressive.
Yeah.
Well, I've been singing R&B. People don't know. Like I was singing R&B. That was like when I first started lifting everything for the first time. It kind of empowered my abdominal muscles and stuff. So around that time, like in 2011, 2012, I actually used to go and sing R&B at karaoke and stuff like that, and it would like the girls go crazy, and I really enjoyed it at the time. But I mean, nowadays I don't do it as much, and I've tried to hone myself up a little bit more in that regard. But I'll like listen to myself, and it once again, it's one of those things where like I'm very critical of my own self. Some people think it's good, but I'm really critical of my own self, and I'm like, eh. So obviously, when it comes to audio engineering, there's lots that you can do with audio, and I've had people, I don't know. This is it's okay because this is behind a paywall, so this probably won't circulate a whole lot. But
no, it'll go free.
It's gonna go free eventually.
Well, anyways, I got reached out to by what's that 1791L. I don't remember how long this even was ago now. This is a while back, but they were thinking it like I don't know, like the guys Christian and Lex. They both like thought I was basically a real hip dude, and they wanted to like I don't know. They were thinking about like including me in something. We had talks at one point that they were gonna have like some studio time for me, and they were gonna like have me like try and redo a couple songs that I did, and then they wanted to like edit some videos for me or something. But it was kind of what it was then. And the thing is that Christian, we had still talked somewhat recently. We had talked because he messaged me and he's like, dude, you piss me off so much. And I'm like, why? He's like, because you lay in that bed of yours, you lay on your couch bed. I live on a couch. I sleep on a couch.
That's the name. That's the name of the mixtape.
But he was like, you're sitting there and you're sleeping on your couch and you're giving up on life, and you have talent, you have real skill, you have real things. I mean, there's a reason why you have 10,000 Twitter followers. There's a reason why you've been in the mix of things for these years. Like you have something to offer, but you just turn your back on it all, and you just essentially just choose to just lay around and die instead. And he's like, it just pisses me off. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that. I could see that, but it's like it's something I gotta, it's a battle I have to fight with myself, and it's a continuous conflict.
We got to support each other. That's the main thing. Is that people keep trying to put all of us down.
I have the perfect quote actually from you, KantBot.
No, don't read any quotes from me.
The love between the autist and his comrades is something far greater that you will never taste. It is I who pities you.
Oh, was that? I don't even remember her name. I said that to some e-girl.
Yeah. There was that was a beautiful quote because it really encapsulated the essence of what it is to be in this Twitter community of friends and it's really great to swipe down and see that little circle rotate, and then you get a new tweet. It really makes you not have to focus on all the shit going on outside of. Oh yeah,
I just said that last night. Is really? Got to refresh the timeline so I don't have to have another thought today.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. It's the cure. It's really the cure. The bond.
I need another poorly drawn frog. Okay, if I don't see a groiper right now, if I don't see a groiper on my timeline wearing a cowboy hat or some shit, I'm about to lose it. I'm about to snap the final straw for the last time. Let me see a cowboy groiper frying up bacon on the range or something. Otherwise, I'm losing my fucking mind right now.
That's why we need community and content. The two C's. The two C's are the two pillars of our Twitter sphere, of the TekWar fan network.
And that's why everyone has to go out and support Eggy Will you ever do a live show? Will you come to New York and do a live show for everyone?
Will you go on Broadway?
No. Get them in a cool club.
Here's the thing, because this has been hurting me lately. It's been hurting me because it's like a combination of my own problems and making more problems for myself. But Dick Masterson, he has his Road Rage show that is just shy of 2 weeks from now, and I was extended an invite to be a part of that whole situation. But what I should have been doing was just simply continuing about some live streaming or making content or whatever, and all I had to do was scrounge up, $200-300 or whatever for the travel and accommodations to be a part of this, and yet I just simply fell so flat. I mean, I suppose technically I think still I could probably, it's still out enough, but I feel like now that I've probably turned my back on this opportunity in a way, because like I just sort of what I should have been doing the last 2 or 3 weeks ever since I had that invitation extended in my general direction was be working to make that a reality. But instead, what have I been doing? Well, probably not a whole lot of shit, but if you were to have TekWars on Broadway, I would most certainly be, if I'm in any acceptable condition to arrive to that event, I would be honored to be included in some way, shape, or form.
Are you live streaming tonight? You said that you were going to do some WoW, I think.
I have a raid coming up here, and the thing is, too, if this recording goes too long, I could probably just end up skipping out on that. I mean, it is what it is.
We'll be able to wrap up soon here.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about your raid? We can get you some live stream viewers right now, because we're going to put this up right now. So hopefully people will be able to catch you.
I mean, no, I probably won't. I mean, I might stream tonight, but I don't know if I'm going to stream that particular gameplay, because it's just a thing. Once again, it kind of comes into my criticism of myself, like, because right now we're fighting bosses that are very hard for us, and so it's probably going to take there's going to be a lot of fighting and a lot of losing and a lot of going back and fighting again. So I'm probably going to be like really focused in on it, and I wouldn't probably stream that. But at the same time, I have not streamed for an entire week, so if things go well tonight, if everything goes well and it wraps up in a fair amount of time, then I probably will stream afterwards, because I'm already drinking, and therefore I'd probably be in a jolly mood to do a little bit of live streaming in that regard. But yeah, so
I want the live stream to happen because I want your dreams to come true. This is all about the new motivation, this show. So this is a perfect chance to do some live streaming tonight.
All right, for you, KantBot, I will most certainly go live streaming tonight. But
yes,
I do not know. I cannot say for sure that it will be of that particular gameplay. But since I'm speaking to you right now, and since I'm telling you this right now, and I have all the wherewithal to make this a reality, I will at least, if not during that gameplay, afterwards with something else, I will go live for you to make a marked attempt of some type to continue to bring more content to the masses, whether they want it or not.
Hell yeah.
Ba-boom.
Whether it's booze and energy drinks, or whether it's watching Amsford's videos, or making content for your few friends on Twitter, it's all the same thing. It's how we deal with this hell world.
Yes, absolutely.
You said if you were in the condition to do TekWars on Broadway, you would. I remember when you were working with Sam, you fucked up your leg pretty bad. What's the story behind that?
So I had initially spoken to Sam back in 2016, and essentially, he sort of just kind of regarded me as like that random meme guy, and he kind of said, "Hey, keep doing what you do, cool." And then I got when I came back to doing things on the internet, I was live streaming at the tail end of 2016. I got very intoxicated one night. I was drinking a 40 ounce of Old English, and I basically chugged that, and I got kind of wasted. And while I was streaming, I sent an email to Sam Hyde, and basically was like, "Hey, Sam, let me get in on something, bro. What's up, bro?" Just like just being a drunk doofus.
Yeah, I've done that.
And no, I didn't hear back, but this was around the time he had began the Hide Wars series. So it was like he did some episode where he was like at a windowsill or something, and he basically had said something to the effect in this particular episode. It came out sometime after this had happened, where I emailed him, and he basically had something to the effect in this episode of like, you gotta earn, you gotta pay your dues, you know what I mean, or whatever. You can't just suddenly boom and you suddenly pop up. And so some people at the time, I'd had 30 or 40 people that had been on this live stream, and so they were like, oh, hey, Sam's talking about I'm like, nah, he's not talking about me. So anyways, fast forward a little bit. Well, in 2017, that year, it was an eventful year for me. I was out in Los Angeles multiple times. I was out in Anaheim, California. I went to VidCon. I was hanging out with Ice Poseidon. I was hanging out with all these big name people, making some random drunken connections and friendships, and it was a good old time. I got recognized even a bit at that time.
Very nice.
And I don't know if that all had to do with it, but essentially then, it was like Sam emailed me later on that year, and he was like, oh, hey, what's up, bro? What's going on? And I'm like, so then we began conversating a bit, and we had some conversations, we even were talking on the phone a couple times, whatever. It was just kind of kicking back and talking some talk. It was some conversation, some bro conversation. And then a couple weeks, I don't know if it was a couple weeks, like a week and some change, maybe after we had our a lengthy email conversation, he just hits me up on email one night, and he's like, hey, you want to be part of KSTV too? And I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So then he's like, all right, cool, I got you, bro. Like however you need to get here. Like I got tell me what you need for travel, blah, blah, boom, let's go. So
oh, wow.
Got it all worked out. And then I want to say it was like maybe a week or so after that, I actually had a meetup in my basement of people who knew me from the internet, which sounds crazy, but there was people who were in the area. They were actually from California, but they happened to be in my area. So we all got it together in my basement and partied. And during this party, that was when I was dancing around on my floor, and I fell on my floor, and I both broke my foot and sprained my ankle at the same time. And I was so drunk at the time, I couldn't even. I was trying to walk. Like I would try to get up and walk again. And I literally just like collapsed on the floor because my foot was broken, so it wouldn't hold me up. I gave out. So then I was laying on the floor. Basically, everybody just kind of like passed out around me, like. And we got up, and I'm like, I tried just laying in bed. I just sent them out. I was like, all right, you guys can. We got up. We sobered up, whatever. Next day, I was like, all right, yeah, you guys can just leave. I can't seem to walk right now, so you feel free to see yourselves out. Thanks for coming. So I laid in bed for a couple of days, and I was like, yeah, I think my foot's fucked. Now, I was very lucky because my insurance was just about to run out. This happened halfway through October, and I actually got my foot, got the cast off. It was fully healed literally like 1 or 2 days before my birthday where I was losing my insurance. So it all worked out great that I didn't have to incur like $8 gazillion in medical debt. But anyways, I didn't tell Sam about this when it happened. I was set to fly out like a week after, I think it was a week or two after I broke my foot. So I was set to fly out, but I didn't mention it to him at all. I guess I don't know why I didn't do it. I was on pain pills, whatever. I don't know. But essentially, so I get to the airport. I get there. I get wheeled around. I get wheeled onto my flight there. I get off the flight. They wheel me out to the pickup spot, and Sam pulls up in his truck, and I'm sitting there in a fucking wheelchair with my crutches. He pulls he pulls up in the dock, he literally as soon as I seen the truck. I mean, it was like a 5-second of him pulling up, parking the truck, and hopping out and like running up to me and be like, bro, what the fuck happened to you?
You're in a wheelchair.
I was like, oh yeah, I broke my foot the other day. Yeah, I forgot to tell you about it. Sorry. So he kind of helped me into the vehicle. He threw the crutches in back and helped me. And then we went and got some delicious lunch. Went and picked up Zach Waltman. We went and picked him up then. And then we went to the studio and kind of sat and talked our shit, whatever. We got everything all set up, did our filming. Then we did some gaming after that. And then I just stayed there. He went to his house, but I just stayed there and slept at the studio because they had accommodations at the studio there that we filmed in for that. So everything was all good and gravy. And pretty much the next day met up and kind of, talked a little bit, had a little bit to eat, kind of just talked. And, I mean, I tell you, we literally just like drove around, and Sam's, this was the thing. I thought it was going to be a Hide Wars episode maybe at the time. I don't know. Maybe he'll use that footage someday, but we just drove around in the truck with like me, Zach, Sam, and then I think his name's like John Dolly or Don Jolly.
Don Jolly, yeah.
we all just drove around in his truck and just like talked for like, I don't even know, 20, 30, 40 minutes, some off the top type stuff. It was really hilarious. But then he brought me back to the airport. So I was really just out there for a day for filming, but it was a good time. But yeah, that's how it happened. It was like I got drunk at a party, broke my foot, and then just popped up. And yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
Did he do any maniac driving in the Raptor?
Well, yeah. He was driving over sidewalks.
Whip it around.
He was driving over sidewalks. Like, he would do that stuff where you're like, you're going up and there's a bunch of people. It's like there's bad traffic. He would like go. There was the one time he went, and there was an exit coming up, so he like turned like he was going off the exit and just like floored it, but then then got back into the lane like like 20 cars ahead. I tell you, man, I've done some crazy driving in my time, but now he was like straight up like just driving over sidewalks and curbs, and like he was treating anything that didn't have a person standing on it was the road. Yeah. So it was fun though. It was a good time. I could see why he was talking about. He had like he used to play like Gran Turismo, and he had like all the best times in his Gran Turismo game, like on PS1 or some shit. I don't even know. It's a spotty memory of that conversation, but I just remember like him driving like on a sidewalk for like a minute, for like a short few seconds or whatever, and then like him and Zach talking about cars or something. I mean, I'm relatively automobile literate to what I need to do, but I'm not like a big car guy, so I was a little bit lost on some of those combos.
That's great. Everyone should take a death ride with Sam Hyde sometime. But I want to imagine now the alternate reality where Sam Hyde is a race car driver.
He would love that reality. I think that is a reality. He's collecting like all sorts of Japanese sports cars and whatnot. It's very nice. Toyotas and.
I believe he could do it someday. I absolutely do. I think he's definitely got what it takes.
Well, Eggy, thanks for talking to us. Do you want to let everyone know where they can find your content at?
Well, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at @1Eggwhite. I have a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel, a DLive channel, and I've been on dlive.tv/Eggywhite more often lately. But I'm still, like I said, I'm still kind of getting back in the swing of things of really trying to produce content. Let me tell you this much. If you want to catch, there's a guy who runs a channel called Egg Wars Archive on YouTube. I don't run that, but he has been he's archived some of my streams and stuff. So if you want to catch up on some streams from whatever, over the last couple months, you can go watch him and kind of watch his channel. I don't care if people want to take my content and archive it. They've been doing that ever since I've been around, because I don't really do it as much as I should. So that's cool with me. You go check him out. You go subscribe to his channel, because if you you can catch it live if you follow me on Twitter, I'll tweet when I go live. So just do that. Otherwise, if you want to go catch some archives, go look up Egg Wars Archives. And he's been posting stream archives. So shout out to that guy.
Okay, new stream tonight. So everybody, please go to his Twitter and tune in.
All right. Yep. I'm here. I'm locked in tonight. I would say sometime in the next few hours from right now. So yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Eggy.
That's excellent. Have a great night, Eggy.
Have a good night.
Good luck on your raid.
I appreciate that. Thank you.